Welcome to this introduction to concepts in the software development lifecycle. We're going to learn a few concepts such as repositories, pipelines, deployments, and Git version control. This course is designed for non-technical people that perhaps work in the software delivery lifecycle, working with developers and QAs, and hear a lot of technical terms, though may not work on the code to use them. And so this introduction to these concepts without getting into the technicalities of code and how it works. So log into gitlab.com. This is where you're going to practice with our repository. You can see down the bottom there are multiple ways you can log in with an existing account, or you can register with GitLab and have your own account specific for GitLab. So here I'm going to log on, and within GitLab we're going to start with creating a repository, a place where you store our code. First, we'll start by creating a repository. So top left there's a create new button. So we click create new and select new project repository. Now we're going to choose this second option here, create from templates. There's a lot of templates you can use. If you scroll down a tiny bit, the one that we will use is one of these static pages template, and there's one with static pages plain HTML. So just go here and go use template. And now you can give your project a name. You can name it whatever you want. I'm just giving it a demo name. Then the name space, so this could be a group, it could be your company or a group you work together with, or it could just be your own username, which I'm using here. And for demo purposes, we're going to make this public so anyone can access it. You can easily share it with others. Now we create our project, our repository, the place where we will store our code. And this will then create this repository is a place where we store a whole bucket of code. It has all the history of the code. Because it was built by a template, this was actually done 4 years ago. We can update it and then see the history of our files. We have different branches. This is the default branch at the moment, and you create branches. Usually when you work on a piece of code, you create a branch, and then from that branch you merge. We put multiple commits. Each commit has a message and a date, so you can see who did what change at what time, and you give it a message. And usually do that to a branch, and would do in a bigger project a merge request or pull request into this default branch. So in our case, this static site here has given us initial folder structure, and this is a pipeline file, which we won't go into the details yet, that deploys a static site. The static site is all basically in this public folder. So in order to deploy it, one just needs to go to build pipelines and then click run pipeline. And you don't need to put any other variables, just go run. Then a pipeline is like a linked list of jobs that run automatically by machine. You could have different agents or machines that do certain tasks at different times, and usually we go left to right in that order. And then you can also have things in parallel which will go vertically, and sometimes if one part of the pipeline fails, it stops. It's like a water flowing down a pipe, and then say you've got a rock in that pipe that could stop the water flowing. So if you had a test stage, it would stop things you deploy. Now this template has deployed a static site. So in order to see any details around the deployment, we go to this deploy section down here, and there's a subsection called pages. So you can configure different parts about the domain, where it's hosted, and whether you want it security for your site, which is good, so there wouldn't be a middleman perhaps hacking into people looking at your site. And here you can see the URL that's auto-generated for the site. So if you want to have your own domain, which you would if you want a very popular website, you can do that here. But for now, we're just going to click on this link, and we're going to straight away see this Hello World page that this template has created. Go and do a change to our site, see what the result of that change, the pipeline that runs, that deploys this change, then also the version control. We can see how all of that links together with our change. So we're not going to worry about teaching you how to code in this video. This is just to show you the concept. So in order to get the code to do the change, you're just going to search for this SAM demo SDLC template repo. It's a public repo, and the link will be in this video. So if you go to this repository, go to the public video 1 folder and go to this index HTML file, you can see here there's a button to copy the file content. So if we click on that copy, and then we go back to our own repository that we're working on, go to the public index HTML file that was created by the template, and we go edit. You can open in a web IDE, stands for Integrated Development Environment, where you can change multiple files at the same time and do commits for a lot more detailed and greater changes. But for this single file change, we're just going to select edit single file, and I'm just going to select all and just paste the contents, overriding what is there. And so from that template site, we just have a simple to-do list app that will store a list of actions that you need to do in your browser, and you can check them off as you do them. So update site. So this commit message should be short, succinct, saying what the change is. So here I'm updating a site to be a to-do list app. And for simplicity's sake, at the moment, we're just going to go straight to the master branch. So here you see it commits the changes. And so this commit will then trigger a pipeline. And this pipeline, so look at it running, I can see it's running here. This will deploy the website. So if I go to the same site here that I was on and I refresh the page, we should see this to-do list. And so I can make some tasks, make a video, and share video. And I can complete it, and I can see this task is here. And so this can be viewed on a mobile, so you could then share this via an email to yourself, get this link and open it in your mobile and have your own to-do list on a browser in your mobile. So back to our Git repository, we can now see up the top here 2 commits, the template commit and the commit that we've just done. So if you click on that, they'll open this code commits section, and I can see this is the template that we just hooked off to start our repo, and then can see I was the one that did it when I did it, and see the commit message. And so each commit has its own hash, which one could use to get that to that very commit again, say in a few years' time. You can always check out that particular commit hash and go to the project as of that time, which can be very helpful in certain situations where you want to reproduce the code in a particular environment. And clicking on the commit, you can see all the changes that were made, and you can see how many additions, deletions, pipelines that were run, and so you can see the power of this using this Git technology in your repository. You've got a history of all of the changes that were done. You can find out why things worked or did not work. So to summarize, we've learned about what a repository is, a place where code is stored, a pipeline, a sequence of tasks to perform any kind of action, a deployment which makes software available to end users, and Git, the technology for version controlling changes. Thank you for watching.